So good morning. As I said, we are going to learn Indian Drugs and Cosmetic Act, and please listen to me carefully as this acts and the Rule 1945. Overall, it's a big chapters, but we will try to go step by step right from the definition. Then the roles of different government analyst, inspector, and various people involved into our day-to-day life in when we are handling drugs and cosmetics. Okay, so Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940 is available. If you Google, you can get the copy of it. If not, I will provide you the copy of the same. Also, I have captured, all the content from Drugs and Cosmetic Act, and the source is acknowledged. So before going forward with the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, I will be telling you about the history. In India, like till 1930, we were dependent on the import and uh, we were flooded with the adulterated drugs, quinine shots, and so many things were happening till 1930. So there was a drug inquiry committee was recommended, by people, and then this act came into picture. Still it took 5 to 10 years to publish this act. So enactment of Drug Act in 1940 and the Drugs and Cosmetic Act and the rules came into 1945. So that's how we usually we read about the whenever we talk about the Indian regulatory system, we have to refer to Indian Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940 and Rule 1945. Okay, so and it was extended to whole of the India. So after this 1940 Act, there were major amendments to this Act. And what was that? That I have given, a couple of them, like Drugs Amendment Act 1955, then 1960, followed by 1962, then Drugs and Cosmetic Amendment Act 1964, 72, 1982, 1995, and 2008. And then the medical device rule came with effect from 2017, 1st January 2018, and the new drugs and clinical trial rules 2019. So these are all major amendments. Okay, there are so many minor amendments, but these are the major amendments which you have to keep in mind. Okay, what was the main objective of Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940? First of all, it was passed on 20th of April 1940, and the main objective was what? To import, manufacture, distribution, and sales of drugs and cosmetics. Correct? To import, manufacture, distribution, and sales of the drugs and cosmetics. And this act regulates the import of drugs in India so that no substandard or spurious drugs will enter into our country. Okay, that means our this act prohibits manufacture of substandard or the spurious drug in the country. Although there are so many manufacturers who are involved into manufacturing of adulterated drugs and spurious and substandard drugs. So this act provides for the control over the sales and distribution of drugs by only trained and qualified person. Okay. It also provides the control over the manufacture, sale, and distribution of Ayurvedic, Siddha, Unani, and homeopathic drugs. So, though it is called as Drugs and Cosmetic Act, it also control manufacture and distribution of Ayurvedic, Siddha, Unani, and homeopathic drugs. So, these are the main objective. If you see, then there are certain provisions of this act regulates the import, manufacture, sale, and distribution of cosmetics, and to have the regular inspection of licensed premises by drug inspectors, and to have control over the standards of drugs and cosmetics by taking samples and analyzing them at approved laboratories. Right? So there are drug inspectors who are given the authority to pick up the sample from any medical store or any laboratories. When they find suspicious or they have some market complaint or issues, they can pick up the sample and they analyze in the the you might have heard about CDTL and our government laboratories. So there they give for the analysis, and they also have the special provision to regulate the preparation, standardization, and storage of biological and special products, and to prescribe the manner of labeling and packing of the various classes of the drugs and cosmetics. So we have discussed about the main objective of Drugs and Cosmetic Act is what? Import, manufacture, distribution and sales of drugs and cosmetic. And it not only covers the drugs and cosmetic, it also controls the sales, manufacture and distribution of Ayurvedic, Siddha, Unani and homeopathic drugs. Okay, and to have the regular inspection of the licensed premises by the drug inspector, and they have control over standards of drug cosmetic by taking samples and analyzing them at approved laboratories. Okay, now we look into the definition. So everybody, as you are studying in pharmacy, you have learned this definition quite like many a times, I think. So you are already aware of what is drug, correct? So the drug includes all medicines for internal or external use of human beings or animals, and all substances intended to be used for or in the diagnosis, treatment, mitigation or prevention of any disease or disorder in human beings or animals, including preparations applied on human body for the purpose of repelling insects like mosquitoes. So you understood the definition? The drug or the any product or the any medicine which can be used internally, externally, not for the human but also for the animals, correct? And which can be used in the diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, and prevention of any disease or disorder, correct? But also it includes what? The preparation which are applied on human body for the purpose of repelling insect like mosquitoes. Then such substance other than food intended to affect the structure or any function of human body or intended to be used for the destruction of or insects which cause disease in human beings or animals. Then all substances intended for use as a component of a drug, including empty gelatin capsules. So big definition you have to understand because it will be part of your final exam, the definition. Then such devices intended for devices means the any kind of medical devices which are intended for internal or external use in the diagnosis, treatment, mitigation or prevention of disease or disorder in human beings or animals. So after drugs we will see to the cosmetic definition. Cosmetic means any article intended to be rubbed, poured, sprinkled, or sprayed on, or introduced into, or otherwise applied to the human body or any part thereof for cleansing, beautifying, promoting attractiveness, or altering the appearance, and includes any article intended for use as a component of cosmetic. Okay, my dear student, I have to read each and every line because I cannot change the definition. We have to adapt as such, okay, given in Drugs and Cosmetic Act. So it is pretty clear what is meant by the drug and what is meant by the cosmetic. What is meant by Ayurvedic Siddha or Unani drug? Means what? It includes all medicines intended for internal or external use for or in the diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, or prevention of disease or disorder in human beings or animals, and manufactured exclusively in accordance with the formulae described in the authoritative books of Ayurvedic, Siddha, and Unani system of medicine specified in the first schedule. So, if you see, there are multiple schedules in the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, out of which Ayurvedic, Siddha, and Unani drugs are, specified under Schedule First Schedule. Okay, Schedule One, that is first schedule. Otherwise, if you see, the definition is more or less similar to the drugs, correct? Because it is used for internal or external use in the diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, or prevention of disease or disorder in the human beings or animals. Correct? Then what is the meaning of standards of quality? Standards of quality in relation to a drug means that the drug complies with the standards set out in the second schedule, and in relation to the cosmetic, that the cosmetic complies with such standards as may be described. Okay, so why do we need standards? First of all, can anyone answer? Why do we need standards?
For quantitative and qualitative analysis, ma'am.
Okay, so this is from analytical point of view. Otherwise, standards are not required, you mean to say?
For comparison purpose, like how good is the drug or the formulation that one is preparing.
You mean to say reference standard?
Yes.
So reference standard and the standards made by the authoritative bodies like regulatory body or ISO, in the international standards or ICH body. So we are talking about the standards. The standards means it applies in both way. Like you said rightly, standards which are used for the analysis like qualitative or quantitative analysis. Am I right? And the standards of quality in relation to the drugs means the drug complies with the standards set out in the second schedule. That means there are certain standards, there are certain specifications in which all the drugs which are analyzed has to comply. You might have seen, suppose if you do some test like assay, impurity, or suppose the dissolution or DT. So you should have some specification. In that specification, some criteria, the acceptance criteria or the limit is given. Am I right? So you have to meet those standards, those acceptance criteria, those specifications. Correct? So these are the standards like ICH, what is the International Council on Harmonization? Those are the also guidance document and which defines how you have to conduct the stability studies as per ICHQ1, how you have to analyze the method, how you have to validate your analytical method as per ICHQ2. So like that, there are different standard, different guidelines defined for the quality aspect. Okay, so you should remember that always you have to take help of standards to maintain the quality of your product, whether it is a drug product or drug substance or the cosmetic or any other. Okay, it should comply with such standards as may be prescribed. Okay, then let us talk about the misbranded drugs. A drug shall be deemed to be misbranded. When it is called misbranded, if it is so colored, coated, powdered, or polished that damage is concealed, or if it is made to appear of better or greater therapeutic value than it really is. Correct? So some people, the mask, coats or give the different colors to hide, to conceal and to say that, it is of pure quality by just polishing or you might have seen this is not the relevant example, but Apple. You might have seen Apple on which the wax, some people they coat with the wax, right? So that it shines. But when you scrap with a knife or, spoon, you can see there is a wax, thin layer, very thin layer of wax is coated on the apple to keep it very, shiny appearance. So in drugs also, many people, they, if they, their intention is to just make it very good, by making the change in appearance by color coating and other form or polished form, which doesn't have any therapeutic value, but only the, what you say, the look, the look will be changed, look will be very attractive, so that people will purchase their product, correct? So that is how the misbranded definition is. So, and one more thing, if it is not properly labeled in a prescribed manner, because Drugs and Cosmetic Act has prescribed how the label should be, what should appear on the left hand side, what should appear in the right hand side, if it is a schedule H drug, schedule X drug, how it has to be placed on the label. So that is clearly prescribed by Drugs and Cosmetic Act. Okay, and if somebody is not labeled their product as per Drugs and Cosmetic Act, then also it is called as misbranded. And if its label or container or anything accompanying the drug bears any statement, design, or device which makes any false claim for the drug, or which is false or misleading in any particular. So when you say about the medical device, the IFU, the intent for use is very important. And if the intent of use is not actually matching as per actual intent, then also it is considered as misbranded drug. Okay, so these are the some examples. You can see the label of fake and the genuine, the real Avastin you can see, and the fake. Here also you can see the fake one and the real one, the fake one and the real one. You can see augmenting. So these are the some example, but at the same time, you might have also seen many examples during your uh, real life study. So this also you can see the Pfizer product. You know. So coming to misbranded cosmetic, we have seen misbranded drugs. Now we see misbranded cosmetic. Cosmetic shall be deemed to be misbranded if it contains a color which is not prescribed, if it is not labeled in a prescribed manner, and if the label or container or anything accompanying the cosmetic bears any statement which is false or misleading in any particular. Okay. Then come to adulterated drugs. A drug shall be deemed to be adulterated if it contains in whole or in part of a filthy, putrid or decomposed substance, if it has been prepared, packed or stored under insanitary condition, whereby it may have been contaminated with filth or whereby it may have been rendered injurious to health. Correct? So adulterated definition is very big because many many people are into this such kind of business. So it is very restricted. And how the drug or it is called adulterated, that is defined here. So then if its container is composed in whole or in part of any poisonous or deleterious substance which may render the content injurious to health, or if it bears or contains for purpose of coloring only a color other than one which is prescribed, and if contains any harmful or toxic substance which may render it to the injurious to health, and if any substance has been mixed therewith so as to reduce its quality or the strength. Okay. So you can read it later on. The definition of adulterated drug, the spurious drug. Okay, then this is very important definition, which is called government analyst. So since I worked personally in local FDA during my career in 1991-92, I know the important role of government analyst. Okay. So, in relation to Ayurved, Siddha, or Unani drug, a person appointed by central or state government under Section 33F. Okay. The government analysis is appointed under section 33F, and a person appointed by central or government under section 20. Okay. So under Ayurvedic Siddha, it is appointed under section 33F, and in relation to other drugs and cosmetic act, a person appointed by central or state government under section 20. Understood the difference, right? Then inspector. In relation to Ayurvedic Siddha, under section 33G, and in relation to other drugs and cosmetic act, under section 21. So you understood? This here it is 33F government analyst, and it is section 20, inspector section 21 under drugs and cosmetic act, and Ayurveda Siddha mein 33G. Manufacture in relation to any drugs and cosmetic includes any process or part of the process for making, altering, ornamenting, finishing, packing, labeling, breaking up, or otherwise treating or adapting any drug or cosmetic with view to its sales or distribution, but does not include the compounding or dispensing of any drug. Okay, or the packing of any drugs or cosmetic in the ordinary course of retail business, and to manufacture shall be controlled accordingly. Sorry. So you will read this definition, by yourself. Then the patent and proprietary medicine. This is also pretty simple, and you might have heard many a times during your studies, right? Shall I read? Shall I move ahead? You tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Patent or proprietary medicine is what? In relation to Ayurveda, Siddha or Unani system, all formulation containing only such ingredients mentioned in the formula described in the authoritative books of Ayurveda, Siddha or Unani system of medicine specified in first schedule, but does not include a medicine which is administered by parenteral route, and also formulation included in the authoritative books as listed in the first schedule. Okay, and in relation to other system of medicine, drug which is a remedy or prescription presented in a form ready for internal or external administration of human beings or animals, and which is not included in the edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia for the time being, or any other pharmacopoeia authorized in this behalf by the central government after the consultation with the Drugs Technical Advisory Board, TTAB, what we call it as, constituted under section 5. Then homeopathic medicine, which includes any drug which is recorded in homeopathic province or therapeutic efficacy of which has been established through long clinical experience as recorded in authoritative homeopathic literature of India and abroad, and which is prepared according to the techniques of homeopathy pharmacy and covers combination of ingredients of such homeopathic medicine, but does not include a medicine which is administered by parenteral route. So you might have seen all homeopathy drugs are dispensed in the form of tablets, the pills. You can see the pills are made up of usually sugar, base is sugar, and then they add the drops of the medicine which is called as homeopathic medicine. But homeopathy medicine, you might have seen, it is always administered orally. So, it's not the parental route or not included in the homeopathic medicine. Then the schedule to the act, first schedule. Okay. So list of Ayurvedic books, you might have seen Charak Samhita, Sanskrit Samhita, then Vaidya Chintamani, Ayurveda Chintamani, Arya Bishop, Ark Prakasha, and there are several other. So these Ayurvedic, Unani, and Siddha formulations, or the information about the drugs is published into these books only. Then list of Siddha books, Nag Muni, Brahma Muni, Lipani, Bhogan. There are so many. Let's see. These are all available in the first schedule. Okay. Then Unani. Generally, Muslim community uses this Unani, and you can see this Karabuddin Qadri, Karabuddin Kabir, Karabuddin Azam, Karabuddin Jaddid, Al Karabuddin, and so on. Very interesting, right? Then the second schedule standards to be compiled with by imported drugs and by drugs manufactured for sale, sold, stocked, or exhibited for sale or distributed. Now schedules to the rule we can see ABCD. Okay, so A is for the given for the list of forms for making application for issuing licenses, granting licenses, and sending memorandum. Okay, and B is for the test or analysis by the Central Drug Laboratory. And C deals with the biological products such as antigens, toxins, antitoxins, vaccines for parental injections, solution for serum protein intended for injection, and insulin. Whereas C1, under C there are two, right? C and C1. C1 is for special products such as fish liver oil, ergot preparation, drugs belonging to the digitalis group, adrenaline, liver extract, vitamins, hormones, scheduled to the rule. D, classes of exempted drug like skimmed milk, powdered milk, fortified with vitamins, tarex, oats, ginger, pepper, cumins, etc. Okay, so easy to remember. A is list of form, B fees, C deals with biological, C1 for special product, D is class of exempted drugs. Schedule K is very important. Okay, these are the list of drugs exempted from certain provision applicable to manufacture of drugs and sales of the drug. So this class of drugs is not sold for medicinal use, and that each container is labeled conspicuously with the word not for medicinal use. Okay. So the medicine that continue to be under the household remedy category include paracetamol tablets, analgesic balms, antacid preparation, calcium preparation, with or without vitamin D, gripe water for use for infants, inhalers, syrups, lozenges, pills, tablets for coughs, cold or sore throat. However, these drugs should not contain any substance specified in Schedule G, H, or X of Drugs and Cosmetic Act and rules. So the shopkeeper are also to ensure that drugs are sold in the original unopened container of the licensed manufacturer. Note, aspirin and quinine sulfate have been removed from this schedule. So earlier aspirin and quinine sulfate was also included in the Schedule K, but now it is removed. So Schedule K drug strictly you will see the container with the not for medicinal use, and these are the different product example given under this medicine. Okay. Then there was a Mashelkar committee recommendation. The Committee of Drug Regulatory System headed by Chief Dr. Mashelkar suggested to expand the scope of Schedule K to include OTC drug. Okay. OTC, last time we discussed over the counter, wherein you do not need any doctor's prescription. Okay. So the ultimate objective is to enhance public access to commonly required medicine, but at the same time ensuring quality of delivery OTC. Okay. So as I said, if you go and buy pain balm like Amritanjan or paracetamol like Crocin or any other OTC product, you can easily get without prescription. Correct? So Mashelkar committee told, and along with Schedule K, you can list those products as a OTC product. Okay, OTC is a common term used in US FDA. So there you will find RX to OTC switches. Okay, RX means prescription, and OTC is not prescription. So the phrase OTC has no legal recognition in India. All drugs not included in the list of prescription only drug are considered to be non-prescription drug or OTC. Correct? So OTC drug means drug legally allowed to be sold over the counter by pharmacies. That is without the prescription of a registered medical practitioner. Prescription only drugs are those medicines that are listed in Schedule H, X, and Schedule G. Okay. So easy to remember. Schedule K is called as OTC, non-prescription drug. Okay. The household remedies and other products. Whereas Schedule H, X, and Schedule G are prescription only. Then Ayurvedic OTC medicine is also registered as Ayurvedic medicines, which contains natural and herbal ingredients. Ayurvedic drugs are manufactured under a manufacturing license issued by Ayurvedic State Licensing Authority. However, they do not require a drug sale license and can be sold freely by non-chemists. Largest OTC brand in India registered as Ayurvedic medicine because of their plant-based natural active ingredients. So you might have seen Patanjali, the Dabur, and so many brands are available which is claimed to be Ayurvedic OTC medicines. Okay, so why people are into this maximum OTC business? Because there you do not require any medical practitioner to prescribe your drug. Anyone can just go and do the window shopping. Everywhere it can be sold out. You might have seen big malls, DMarts, Big Bazaar, and other malls. All the products, Ayurvedic products, are available easily. Then categories with the OTC potential is what? Vitamins and minerals, health tonics, cough suppressant like Vicks 44, gastrointestinal drug like Gasex, analgesics, dermatological preparation, herbal Ayurvedic medicines. Okay. So now we come to Schedule E and E1. After Schedule K, we discuss about E and E1. E1 means list of Ayurvedic, Siddha and Unani poison. Okay. Ayurvedic, Siddha and Unani poisons. Examples: snake poison, arsenic, mercury, copper sulfate, dhatura, bhang, ganja. These are all, poisonous substances which are prescribed under Schedule E1. Okay. In Schedule F and F1, F provisions applicable to blood banks, requirement and licensing process, whereas F1 is provisions applicable to other biological and special products, such as vaccines, antigens, diagnostic antigens, tuberculin, etc., regarding their production, testing, storage, packing, etc. In Schedule F2, F3, and FF, F2 means standard for surgical dressing and bandage cloths. F3 is standard for umbilical tapes, and FF is standard for ophthalmic preparation. Schedule G, list of substances required to be taken only under supervision of registered medical practitioner, that is RMP. So medicines listed as Schedule G medicines carry on the label of caution. Okay, caution word is important. Caution means what? It is dangerous to take this preparation except under medical supervision. Conspicuously printed and surrounded by a line within which there should be no other words. Okay, so it is necessary to make proper bill for sale. Okay, so under Schedule H, Schedule G drug, you cannot sell without RMP first of all. Second, whenever you are selling, you have to keep record all bills to be issued to the patient. Okay, records of purchase, sale of this medicine must be maintained for a period of 2 years. Okay, so anytime it can be audited, so you have to maintain this record for 2 years. Example is what? There are so many, bleomycin, busulfan, chlorombucil, chlorothiazide, chlorpropamide, doxorubicin, and so on, metformin, insulin, so on. Then Schedule H drugs and cosmetics, Second Amendment rule. Okay. So prescription drugs which are required to be sold by retail only when a prescription by RMP, correct? And drugs comes under Schedule H should be labeled with the symbol RX and conspicuously displayed on the left top corner of the label. Then the drug specified in Schedule H and comes within Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance 1985 labeled with the symbol NRX. Okay, so which it comes under narcotics, NRX, otherwise simple RX you would see. Okay, but NRX when you are writing, it shall be read and conspicuously displayed on the left top corner of the label. Example, alprazolam, amikacin, atenolol, acyclovir, buspirone, patopril, azathioprine, and so on. So you understood Schedule F, Schedule G, Schedule H, Schedule E1 poisonous drugs, correct? Now, monitoring use and misuse of antibiotics. Schedule H of the Drug and Cosmetic Act contains list of 536 drugs which are required to be dispensed on the prescription of a registered medical practitioner. Okay. So in order to have separate regulation to check unauthorized sale of antibiotics, a separate schedule, that is Schedule H1, was introduced under Drugs and Cosmetic Act. Fourth Amendment Rules 2013 to regulate sale of antibiotics exclusively. Because lots of antibiotics are in demand, so under Schedule H it was impossible. So they have formed again in the amendment in 2013 separate Schedule H1, in which it is separately regulated. All antibiotic exclusively regulated under Schedule H1. And under this schedule, drug formulation should be labeled with symbol RX in red and conspicuously displayed on left corner of the label with the following words in box with red border. Correct? Then warning, it is dangerous to take this preparation except in accordance with the medical advice, not to be sold by retail without the prescription of RMP. These are some mandatory requirements you have to follow when you are studying Schedule H1, that is antibiotics. So drugs under Schedule H are omitted like alprazolam, ceftinib. You can read this, okay? Have you gone through it? Then these are the drugs under Schedule H1. Okay, so these are omitted from H and these are included into Schedule H1. Now we come to Schedule J. So list of diseases and ailments which a drug may not claim to prevent or cure. Some of the diseases and ailments under the schedule are AIDS, angina pectoris, appendicitis, arteriosclerosis, baldness, blindness, bronchial asthma, cancer, tumor, cataract, so many uh, element which are coming under Schedule J. So these are the list of disease or ailment which a drug may not claim to prevent or cure, because these are the diseases which cannot be cured 100%. Okay, the patient life can be increased, but you cannot guarantee or assure that it is 100% curable. Okay, so for such disease, these are the list of disease or ailment which drug may not claim to prevent or cure. Then coming to Schedule M, M1, M2, M3, the most important schedule. Okay. So the Schedule M deals with what? Good manufacturing practices. So if you go to US, Europe, Canada, and other also, they also follow GMP. GMP in India, we follow GMP as per Schedule M, whereas abroad there are other standards. Okay, there are WHO standards, there are IC standards, there are ISP standards. There are so many standards available. Regulations are available. Okay, then 21 CFR parts also available to follow the GMP. So what our Schedule M tells about, what are the requirements of premises, plant and equipment. So part 1, that is Schedule M part 1 deals with the GMP and factory premises, whereas part 2 deals with the plant and the equipment. Okay. So Schedule M1 prescribes in detail requirement of factory premises for the manufacture of homeopathic drug, whereas M2 prescribes requirement of factory premises for manufacture of cosmetics, whereas M3 prescribes the requirement of factory premises for manufacture of medical devices. Understood? In Schedule T, Schedule N, and Schedule O. T, requirement for factory premises and hygiene condition for Ayurvedic and Unani drugs. Schedule N, list of minimum equipment for efficient running of pharmacy. Schedule O, standards for disinfectant fluids. Okay. So M1, M2, M3, M1, M2, M3, Schedule T, N, and O. Schedule P is list period of the drug, life period of the drug. Okay. So life period of the drug means what? Period in months, unless otherwise specified, between date of manufacture and date of expiry, which the label potency period of the drug should not exceed under the condition of storage specified. Then the schedule includes antibiotics, vitamins, insulin preparation, normal human plasma, sera, toxins, oxides, other toxins, antitoxins, miscellaneous drugs. Then schedule P1, pack size of the certain drug. Okay. P is life period of the drug. P1 is pack size of the certain drug. It gives the name of drug along with the dosage form and the pack size. Okay, you can see name of the drug is what? Albendazole. Dosage form suspension. Pack size is 10. Okay. So no other pack size than the one listed is allowed to be marketed under this schedule P1. Okay. So you have to remember atenolol tablets, 14 tablets pack. Piperazine granules, 5 gram pack. Schedule Q. List of coal tar color permitted to be used in the drugs and cosmetics. Okay, so no drug should contain a color other than specified below. Natural color like carotene, chlorophyll red oxide ion, yellow oxide ion, titanium dioxide, black oxide, then artificial colors, caramel, coal tar color. Schedule R and Schedule S. Schedule R is standard for condoms made up of rubber latex intended for single use and other mechanical contraceptives like copper T and all. Schedule R1 standard for medical devices. Okay. Then Schedule S standard for cosmetics. So the following cosmetic finish forms should conform the Indian standard like BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards. So certain skin powder for infant, tooth powder, toothpaste, skin creams, hair oils. These are all products are regulated under this standard. Okay. Then schedule U, U1 and schedule V. U particular to be shown in the manufacturing of analytical records of drugs. U1 particular to be shown in manufacturing record of cosmetics. Understood? And V is for vitamin. The standard patent and proprietary medicine and for patent and proprietary medicine containing vitamins. Easy to remember. U is for drugs, the manufacturing and analytical record of drugs. U1 manufacturing records of cosmetics, and V is for vitamins. Schedule W, the list of drugs which shall be marketed under generic name only. Correct? So this includes only 5 drugs that shall be marketed under generic name only. Which are those? Analgin, aspirin and its salt, chlorpromazine and its salt, ferrous sulfate, piperazine and its salt. Then Schedule X, list of habit-forming, psychotropic, and other such drugs. Schedule X contain list of drugs which need discretion while dispensing, and the pharmacist should ensure that these drugs are not sold without prescription, having a warning mentioned on the label. So Schedule X you will see always has the warning, right? To be sold on retail on prescription of a registered medical practitioner only. The label will also have a symbol XRX in red and conspicuously displayed on the top left corner of the label. Okay. Then, after dispensing the drugs, and the pharmacist must stamp and retain prescription, maintain and record purchase and sale of the drug, and preserve it for a period of 2 years from the date of transaction. Schedule Y. Y covers the guideline for the clinical trial, import and manufacture of new drug. Okay, and it covers like chemical and pharmaceutical information, animal test, toxicology, pharmacology, clinical trials, nature of trials, permission for trials, responsibility of sponsor and investigator. So Schedule Y is completely for the clinical trials, VAB trials. Okay. Now we look into the administrative bodies. So which are all administrative bodies involved as per our Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940? There is advisory body, DTAB, that is the Drug Technical Advisory Board, Drug Consultative Committee, DCC, Analytical, the Central Drug Laboratory, that is CDL, then Drug Control Laboratory in state, that is DCL, correct? This state-wise and central, like state and central, there are difference. Okay, state means Maharashtra State FDA, Gujarat State FDA. Central means it is based on Delhi, okay, or DCGI. Then government analyst, executive, licensing authorities, state and central again, drug inspectors, custom collectors. So these are all administrative bodies which have different roles and responsibility to play. Okay, so DTAP is to advise the central and state government on technical matters arising out of the administration of this act and to carry out the other functions assigned to this by this act. So constitution of DTAP ex officio members is what? Director General of Health Services, Chairman of the Board, Drug Controller of India, that is DCGI, President Pharmacy Council of India, President Medical Council of India, Director Central Drug Laboratory Kolkata, Lucknow, Kasauli, and what? The Indian Veterinary Research Institute in Jatnagar. This is the constitution of DTAP from different part of the India. Okay. With nominated members, one person from pharmaceutical industry, two government analysts, two person from among the person who are in charge of the drug control organization in the state. And elected members are one teacher in pharmacy, pharmaceutical chemistry or pharmacognosy from the staff of university or affiliated college elected by Executive Committee of Pharmacy Council of India. Okay? And one teacher in medicine or therapeutics from the staff of university or affiliated college elected by the Executive Committee of Medical Council of India. and one person elected by Central Council of Indian Pharmaceutical Association, that is IPC. Then elected members, one person elected by Central Council of Indian Medical Association and one pharmacologist elected by governing body of IPC, Indian Council and Medical ICM. Okay. The nominated and elected members hold office for 3 years and are eligible for re-nomination or re-election. Whereas central government appoints a secretary of the board and other clerical staff. So I need a 5 minutes break. Thank you for your attention. So are you aware of the drug control laboratories in our state? Every state has laboratory for the analysis and testing of the drugs and cosmetic manufactured or sold in that particular area. Okay. The samples sent by drug inspector are analyzed in by such laboratories. So also analyze the drugs sent by any person or purchaser or payment of the necessary fees. So this is the qualification of government analyst. Okay, he should at least have the 5 years of experience before he joins. And in the testing of drugs in the laboratory under the control of government analyst, head of an institution or aptitude testing laboratories, and at least 3 years of experience in the testing of drugs in the laboratory under the control of government analyst and the institution or aptitude testing laboratories. So these are the duties of government analyst. I will quickly go through the slides which is presented for Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940. And these are the procedure to be followed on receipt of samples. Okay. Then this is the qualification for drug inspector. Should be a graduate in pharmacy or pharmaceutical science or medicine with a clinical or microbiology of a recognized university. Then provided that for the purpose of inspection of manufacture of substance specified in Schedule C, a person appointed as drug inspector should have not less than 18 months experience in manufacture of at least one of the substances specified in Schedule C. Okay, or this 18 months experience in testing of at least one of the substance, or not less than 3 years of experience in the inspection of firms. Then there are many powers given to the drug inspector to inspect and then take samples of any drugs or cosmetics. Okay. So you will find this under Drugs and Cosmetic Act. So many powers are given to the drug inspector. Then duties of drug inspector in relation to sale of the drugs and cosmetic. So to inspect at least once a year all establishment license for sale for drugs in area assigned to him and to satisfy himself whether the condition of the license are observed or not. Correct? If he thinks necessary to obtain and send samples of imported drugs and cosmetic for test or analysis, which are being sold or stocked in the contravention of provision of this act. To investigate any complaint made in writing to him, to institute prosecution in case of breach of the act and rule, to maintain the records relating to all inspection and action taken by him. There are so many, there are procedure for inspectors, controlling authority, licensing authority, custom collectors, and how the drugs are imported. Classes of drugs prohibited to import. Which are those? Any drug which is not of standard quality, misbranded, adulterated, spurious, okay, drugs and cosmetic. And any drug which claim to cure or prevent any disease or ailment described in Schedule J. And see, an import of Schedule C and C1 drug. The license for the import of Schedule C and C1 drug is granted subject to the following condition. When the licensee must have adequate facilities for the storage of imported drug, then they have the records of sales of drugs. Then they have they must allow the inspector to inspect their premises, to check the record, take samples. The licensee on request shall supply the samples of drugs. So, then import of Schedule X drug, import of small quantities of drug for examination, test, and analysis. So most of the laboratories, R&D center, they usually require a small quantity of samples for the analytical purpose and the development purpose. For that also, we require form to be filled and give the justification, you opt for the test license. There are import of new drugs. Drugs may be imported without any permit or license. So it is given all provision in the chapter 3 of Drugs and Cosmetic Act. Then places through which drugs are imported by either by sea, by air, or by rail, correct? Then offences and penalty also mentioned related to import of drug. Anyone who import adulterated or spurious or drugs or cosmetic unsafe for use is punishable with imprisonment up to 3 years or with fine up to 5,000 or both on the first conviction, and punishable with imprisonment of 5 years and with fine up to 10,000 or both on subsequent conviction. Then manufacture of drugs, kinds of manufacturing licenses under Schedule C, C1, Schedule X, correct? Loan license, repacking license, different kind of manufacturing license are provided. Then manufacture of biological and other products. Right? Manufacture of drug for examination, test, analysis. Loan license, repacking license is issued. So all things you have to know, when you come out of university, you should be aware of all these things. Then these are the offenses and penalties for manufacture of drugs, which are misbranded, adulterated, spurious, who fail to keep the records, who manufacture without license. There are then false warranty by manufacturer to the purchaser, use of government analysis report for advertising, the sale of the drug. Correct? There are two types of sales: retail sale, wholesale sale. Retail means what? It means sale with whether to a hospital or a dispensary or medical educational or research institute or to any other person other than sale by way of wholesale dealing. And wholesale means what? Sale by way of wholesale dealing. It means a sale to a person for the purpose of selling again, and also includes a sale to hospital or dispensary or medical educational or research institute. You know the definition of drugstore, chemist and druggist, pharmacy. Right? Then these are the different kind of licenses given. Wholesale under shop license for wholesale of C and C1, then license of drug other than C and C1. Right? Retail for the drugstore, chemist and druggist, pharmacy. These are the licenses, different licenses given. Retail sell from the shop. Then what is meant by general license and the restricted license? General license is given to the person who have premises for business and who have engaged the services of qualified person to supervise the sale of drugs and do the compounding and dispensing. Whereas restricted means it's granted for those dealers who do not engage the services of qualified person. These are the some classes of drug prohibited for wholesale. Okay, physician sample drug not intended for sale, drugs whose date of expiry is expired, right? Any patent or proprietary drug and so on. And these are the offenses and penalty of sales of the drugs. 5 years life imprisonment, not less than 10,000 fine. And for sale, stocking, exhibition, or other or offer for sale for adulterated drug, 1 to 3 year imprisonment and 5,000 fine. Then come to labeling. Labeling and packing, as per Drugs and Cosmetic Act, legal requirement is what? Should have name of the drug, official name, trade name, then name of manufacturer, his address with license number and batch number, potency, standard grade, dose, etc. expressed in ml, grams, units, etc. Sorry for the spelling mistake. Net content by volume, weight, number, manufacturing and expiry date, Schedule P and C drug. Then precaution for handling, storage, sales, and usage. Special instruction may be there such for the veterinary use physician sample, and special labeling for the drug for export on the dispenser. Okay. For Schedule G drug, caution. For Schedule H drug, warning. Correct? The symbol RX prominently on left side and symbol NRX prominently on left side for narcotic and psychotropic. Schedule X is drug is warning to be sold on prescription of RMP. Symbol XRX in red on left up corner. Ophthalmic for ophthalmic use only, not for injection. Use within 1 month after opening the container. Name and concentration, special instruction, warning, do not touch the dropper, deep, or so on. These are very important things you have to remember as a pharmacist. Then for veterinary drugs, not for human use, not for animal treatment only. Head of any domestic animal packing of drugs specified in Schedule X. Drugs specified in Schedule X can be marketed in packing not exceeding 100 unit doses, 300 ml and 5 ml kg injection. Okay. So different types of dosage, tablet, liquid and injection, the dose is given. When cosmetic has different set of instruction to be given on label. So cosmetic, when you are labeling on both inner and outer label, it should indicate name of cosmetic, name and address of the manufacturer. And on the outer label, it should indicate the net content of the package. Such a statement need not appear on the label if the net content does not exceed 60 ml or 30 grams. On the inner label, it should indicate the proper direction of safe use, warning, caution, or special direction, the names and content of ingredients. Then the label in addition should indicate batch number only if the content and cosmetic is more than 10 grams or 25 ml. Then the manufacturing license preceded by letter M. If the package or container of the cosmetic has only one label, it should contain all the information required to be shown on both inner and outer. Then hair dye containing coal tar, should label as caution. Hair dye label sample. And these are the different forms available like Form 8. You have to apply for the grant of license in Form 10. Then Form 40, 42, 19, various forms are available. So that's all about the Drugs and Cosmetic Act. And thank you for your kind attention. And with this, we will move forward with, the CDSC. Okay. Thank you.